Hey, I just thought I'd make a little check-in video about what it feels like to be a piano teacher. So I never meant to be a piano teacher, but I'm a pretty good one. I guess I think very good. I didn't used to be very good. I think I used to be too different. Like not worrying about certain standards and expectations enough at all that I couldn't normalize or regulate. Ooh, there's the moon. Anyway, I couldn't normalize or regulate or predict progress before, I think. I want you to see the moon, too. So now I think I'm pretty... Oh my gosh, I have a lot of drinks. Let's take one away. Looks a little less weird. I met my friend Josie at Big B today. Well, we meant to meet at Argo Tea, but then that was like buried inside the GVSU campus, so like, plus she was running late and whatever. Anyway, there, that looks more normal. 2 drinks. One hot, one cold, whatever. Plus apparently an extra coffee, and this is actually just water, not kombucha. I just used an old kombucha bottle. Anyway, oh yeah, so basically my life path now, it almost feels like karma, is having to be, I was going to say mean to people all day long. It's not true. Like, I don't have to be mean. I think something out there is trying to get me to emotionally, at like the core of my being, like understand why people were mean to me in my childhood, or, had high standards for me and pushed me so hard. Because like, if they see potential in you, then they expect more from you. And like, I've gotten tougher on my students in that I'm a little bit, I think it started like, I've been teaching for like a decade, but like, I think it started like somewhere between 3 and 5 years ago, where I tried to at least start saying the sentence like, here's what I did to get to the level I'm at. Here's how often I had to practice. Here's the type of teacher I had. And this is how I felt about it. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but that's what I did to get where I'm at. So if you want what I have, if you want to be at my level, you might have to do these things. Anything from like practice every day or 30 minutes a day, or drill hard sections of songs. Don't just play it straight through and then be done. Play the song multiple times, and anytime you have a stumbling block, either send yourself back to the beginning until it's gone, or send yourself back to goal points, or like drill just that 1 measure or 2 measures or tiny little thing until it's fixed, and then go back and put it back in, and blah, blah, blah. I would tell them these things, but I wouldn't like make it required. And the last few years, it's been rough, like waking up to like, okay, but I have to, I don't know, like they're not just going to want to do hard work. Like nobody just wants to do hard work. Like it's got to be something that comes from the parents or the adults who understand life trajectories, or from me who understands and is paid to push them, like a personal trainer or a coach, like a life coach. As a life coach, just keep telling them, well, if you want it, you'll do it. Otherwise, oh, well, whatever, like. So my karma or my lesson in this lifetime, one of them, a big one, feels like, how can I learn to be honest without being mean? Because honesty often felt mean when I was a kid. Like if I had worked what I thought was my hardest, and I showed up and my teacher just immediately talked about my flat fingers, like not playing with a curve. If she'd actually, just talked about how I wasn't playing curved, which it's true. Nobody fixed that in me really well until the conservatory. That's a lot of years playing not right, but she tried. No one can fault her for that. She brought it up almost every single song I played, and it felt so mean. It just felt like, did you notice that I played all the notes right? You just didn't feel like mentioning that? Like, and she wasn't always mean to me, but there were certain topics that she was really short with me on. And it felt so mean, but I think it's because she was frustrated because she wasn't getting through. So I have a student that I just saw, and I won't name names, but where I just don't feel like I'm getting through. And it's like a really tough lesson for me because I've had to get what feels like meaner, but I think it's just more honest or more realistic or more direct. Like, hey, you really need to do this, this, this if you want to improve on this song. And then if he doesn't do that, then I have to be like, did you do that? And then if he says no, or just doesn't listen to me at all, then I have to be like, okay, look, I'm not saying this because I enjoy saying this. Like, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be short with you. I don't want to be impatient, but these are the things that will make you improve on this thing. And so, like, yeah, I don't know what you believe about lessons, life lessons, karma. I'm going to stop with the moon thing. That's hard to hold it at that angle, but that looks really crazy. I just have a lot of stuff out right now. Yep, there's the plants that my nieces and nephews painted in these pots. Well, they didn't paint the plants. They painted these pots. Yeah. And then Brooklyn painted that flower a few years earlier, and JT made one too. Where's his? I wonder if it's still made it. Aw, JT's didn't make it. Oh well. But I have all these cute ones from Brooklyn and from Sawyer and Sully. Anyway. So, pay attention to the things in your life that you keep kind of needing to do. Maybe you won't know why they keep coming up for you. Ooh, now I feel like I should sit this way for my Christmas tree to be in it. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why am I trying to give you a view of my living room? I'm mostly just trying to clear whatever blockage is going on in my throat because I'm just feeling really sad having to live out a life path that is not quite what I would have chosen. The funny thing is, I did choose this life path for the job flexibility. Like, I keep coming back to it again and again because being a piano teacher, the schedule, the hours, like the second shift type hours and the weekdays, having your mornings free to write, it doesn't work with gigging. Like, if I were someone who really wanted to gig, I would do a 9 to 5 so that I would have my evenings free and then I could gig. But I'm learning I must not be someone who's desperate to gig all the time because A, there aren't enough listening rooms in the state of Michigan, like, and my music doesn't fit in like the bar restaurant kind of hustle venue scene, like to be like an entertainer. The only way I can do that path is if I completely change my music or I play all cover songs or mostly cover songs, and I'm just not drawn to that. I keep trying to be drawn to that because I want more money, but I could also just take a few more students to earn more money rather than add a whole side hustle to my life. Okay, hold on. It does get hard being poor after, working so hard to get a master's degree and releasing 20 albums and trying to do your best at everything. It's hard to be not just working class, but like low end salary wise, but there are other solutions than completely changing your life path. And in my case, it's just taking a few more students. So, hey, if you need a teacher, I am actually quite good. I teach my students, technique. We do Hanon, we do scales, we do chord scales, we do inversions and arpeggios sometimes, depending on the seriousness of each student. Some of them do more like pop and lead sheets, in addition to the core foundational aspects of, scales and Hanon and stuff. Everybody has like a foundation, but then variations on if we do more bookwork or if we do more like supplemental kind of fun type songs. And yeah, it's good. I'm good. That sounds terrible, but I think it's coming out of, I didn't used to believe in myself as a teacher without a lot of defiance and without a lot of, I do it totally different than other teachers. And now I'm not like that. I'm like, well, on a lot of things, certain things, maybe 50% or more, I'm just like a traditional teacher. And on that stuff, I'm very good. I'm a conservatory trained classical pianist. On the 50% or less that I kind of made up, my sort of hybrid, weird ways of teaching things in sort of a visual, big picture thinker, right brainer sort of way, that's a different amount for each student that I teach. If somebody is more right brain, more creative, I skew more towards some of that style of learning, teaching patterns and tricks and things that'll make you a good pianist faster, like warp speeding, but by learning big concepts. And if someone's less right brain, more linear, more by the book in how they like to learn, I might do less of that kind of stuff and be just even more like a traditional teacher. So, it all depends. Anyway, So don't get me wrong, I do like teaching. I like teaching a lot. Like if I'm going to have a job, this is what I like. I sit, my student sits there, I sit here. It's my piano chair. Which is cool. I found it on the side of the road at some rich suburb in Cudahy, Wisconsin. It's like very, very fancy. Oh, that's my scarf. Anyway, that's my piano teaching chair. And yeah, I mean, sometimes I would say about a third of my students, I go to their houses. So there's that too. Just drive around like Grand Haven and Spring Lake to different houses. So I do really like teaching. I do. As far as jobs go, I think it's the best possible job that I can have. The only other thing I liked as much was music directing. So I would play the piano but again, it's still teaching. Oh my gosh. Apparently I like teaching. It's weird. I never meant to be a teacher, but I think I got that philosophy out of the fact that I didn't want to get an education degree because I'm not interested in learning like hundreds of theories on different approaches to education, and I'm certain, and actually I wouldn't have minded that. I'm not interested in all the paperwork and the organized bookkeeping and the reporting grades. Grades was a huge one. I never had any interest in that. I don't want to try to use my own gut opinion to like assess other people's quality of work. Like I would have had to learn this lesson that I'm learning about being the bad guy times like a million, you know? Ugh. And having like parent-teacher conferences and letting them know if their kid's not doing well. Oh my gosh. All of this is very hard for me. I just want everyone to feel good about themselves. Like seriously, like things that were not actual trauma, things that were just hard for me, I experienced almost like trauma. And I'm sure that happens to kids all the time at school. What was I saying? That this is a good job for me. Oh, that the only other thing I really liked, was music directing. So music directing, if you don't know what music directing is, it'd be like, here's a musical, here's the director. You know what a director is, but the music director is the director of all the music. So I would teach all the notes to all the leads and the chorus, you know. And my favorite was, I like teaching the leads, like if they weren't getting a part, like really plunking out the notes, plunking out the rhythms. Plunking just means playing. So if they weren't getting a part, you would just play the exact right rhythm for them, or you would play, and sometimes I would sing it for them and show them how the part goes. And so you're the one leading all the music. You're in charge of all the music. And like if it was a chorus part, you know, for the whole chorus to sing, it's often teaching like 6-part harmony. So you teach the altos, the second altos, the sopranos, the second sopranos, the bass, and you teach everyone their parts, and then they put it all together, and then you're like, nope, you're still not getting it. Let's put just the guys together. So it's a very intuitive, instinctive kind of, I'm the one in the room that knows music the best, and let me help you kind of role to be in. And I was very good at it. Like I almost did it. I did it on off-Broadway, or I understudied for off-Broadway. I did one show on off-off-Broadway. So that was back when I was living in New York. And yeah, I had connections that wanted me to keep going up with that, and I not only could have, I think I would have in an alternate, if different life paths are happening at once. But it was very expensive to stay in New York. But had I stayed there, I'm sure I would have kept doing it. I had requests even after I moved away to still be doing projects. And then I did it for many years in Chicago too. And I did enjoy it. It made me feel very smart. Which is a horrible thing to say out loud, but it's true. It made me feel very smart and accomplished and looked up to and talented, and people appreciated you because you were serving a function that very few people could do well. So not only could I teach all the parts, could I listen and hear when one of the parts was wrong, stop them, say the tenor twos are getting this wrong, you know, like that's a hard skill to acquire, and it took me tons of training to acquire it. So once I had that, and then the third thing is to be able to play the piano part for the entire show well. And so I could do that. And if I couldn't get a part really well, I faked it. And that's something I learned through doing like 30 musicals. I learned how to fake parts. And so I learned how to, this measure is too hard. Let me just play something in a C flat chord that makes it sound. I picked that because often in musical theater, even though it's really a B major chord, a C flat chord is the same as a B chord, but they would write it out as a C flat chord because they'd be like in G flat major and it'd be the 4 chord. And if you're following that, you probably are good at music theory too, which is great. Music theory's fun. It's not just for nerds, or we're all nerds together and who cares? Those are just words. People are using words like that to try to control you. Think about it. Like, that's the most bullying concept ever. So if you're in the smart kid crowd and people are jealous of you because they're not doing well in school, what's the easiest way to bring you down other than to make you feel bad about what you actually are? They give a name, a negative connotation name, to the thing you actually are, which is smart. And now they call you a smarty pants or a goody two-shoes because you actually are liked by the teacher and you're actually good in class or you're actually getting good grades. And so now they make fun of you by calling you a nerd or a smarty pants. I've literally never thought these thoughts before. But talk about control. That's the most bullying thing to do in the world, is to make smart people feel bad about themselves. That's insane. So obviously people like Bill Gates or whoever decided to just like ignore those people and just be themselves. And they know that those people are just probably feeling bad about themselves, which is why they're putting other people down. You don't even need to waste your time putting those people down back. You just kind of, whatever. Like, sorry, me existing makes you feel that bad about yourself. I really genuinely do feel bad about that. But me raising my hand all the time and being excited about school didn't have anything to do with you. I just was enjoying it and I was doing well. So the fact that then I had to spend my whole middle school, high school feeling like I was uncool because I was smart, and then get to college and kind of try to hide how smart I was. Like, it's a waste of life. Don't do that. If that's you, you can keep doing that. I understand it's a social challenge to be smart. It's not very likable. It's not very likable to be bigger than life in any way, is what I've learned. It's not likable for me to make this many YouTube videos. It's not except maybe by you if you're watching it. It's not likable to do anything that makes you stand out from the pack. And most people will leave you alone if you stand out from the pack. They'll let you feel alone. But some people will go an extra mile to make sure you feel like borderline like ostracized for standing out from the pack. And that's what happened to me in middle school for my songwriting. And yeah, and just for existing, so, and being different. And I'm sure people found it annoying, but some people didn't just think that thought. Some people really talked about it openly, and then, I don't know. Some of us, people like me, when given the choice to be liked or to be different, some of us choose to be liked. And we change everything about ourselves until we fit in the best we think we can. And then we wake up one day in our adulthood and we don't know who we are because we had changed everything about ourselves or hidden it or subverted it or tried to make it smaller when it really was big because it didn't fit in normal society, or it just didn't fit in our friend group, that's the tragic piece. So if you do all that work to change for your current world, and then you get out of that world, say you get to college or you get to a job or something, and you realize at that place your real self maybe would have fit in, but by then you spent all these years faking who you are. Whoops. Okay, I got a call and that kind of stopped the video, so I gotta go. I've got to go teach 2 more lessons, but just wanted to talk about all that stuff because I was feeling sad. And I love the student that I was just having to give some tough feedback to. I do it with love, and I do it with humor, and I do it with as many smiles and as much kindness as I can muster. And maybe that's why I don't like doing it with that one student, because I'm afraid that with that student I am starting to come off a little less loving. But trying my best. Anyway, that's my piano lesson life. I'll have to teach some more. These next 2 are out of the house, so I'm going to go drive. Bye.